welcome to the Emory James Museum here at St. Andrew High School for Girls. And with us today is Professor Elsa Leo-Rhynie, Professor Emerita of the University of the West Indies, and an old girl. And we look forward to hearing a lot about her career and all that she's done and her memories of St. Andrew High School. So we look forward to that. Elsa Leo-Rhynie has had a distinguished career in education and in research and development at the University of the West Indies. But before we get to that, let's talk about your days at St. Andrew High. Can you remember that first day?
Oh, very vividly. It was such a milestone in my life because I had wanted to go to high school for so long, and I wasn't sure that I would be able to come because my parents told me that I would need to get a scholarship. And I had not gotten a scholarship, but I had passed the entrance exam. And so I came accepted. I remember sitting on the edge of my chair when Ms. Garcher said to me and my parents, "We will accept Elsa," Fairweather I was at the time, "we will accept Elsa, and we hope that she would like it here at St. Andrew." And I was full of trepidation because I knew that so much was being put on the line for me to be going to high school. So that day when I came, I actually walked up the front steps for the first and only time and went into the office, and I received my little slip, which was a receipt for my fees and other things. And then I came down the stairs, and a friend from Sunday school, Barbara Nash, she was at the time, shouted to me and said, "Elsa, Elsa, come, I have a seat for you right beside me in my classroom. You're in my class, you're in my class." So I went, and we went to a classroom which was right next to the middle landing, and that was Law 4A. I discovered that only 2 new girls had gone into Law 4A, and I have never been able to determine why Sandra Lindo, now Sandra Stubbs, and myself were the only 2 new girls put in Law 4A. All the other new girls were put into Law 4B. And it was interesting because the year that I entered St. Andrew, 1954, was the year when St. Andrew increased its entry of students from 1 stream to 2. So the Law 4B formed the 2nd stream. And I guess we were just the overhang or the whatever, the brota, the leftovers, but we were put in Law 4A with girls who had already been at St. Andrew for maybe 1 or 2 years, coming up from the prep school. So I was very happy to have a friend there, right beside me in my classroom. Our form teacher, I remember, was Mrs. Sherlock, and Mrs. Sherlock was the wife of Reverend Hugh Sherlock, Methodist minister. And Mrs. Sherlock was noted for wearing her glasses right on the tip of her nose. And I think all of us as girls sat and wondered, when are they going to fall off? Because they were right on the tip of her nose. We had a wonderful time. It was a lovely sort of gathering of girls doing the usual things that girls do, chattering and you know, being mischievous. And we had Miss Gibson for math, later Mrs. Brassington. She taught us math. Mrs. Sherlock also taught us geography. There are so many little flashbacks of things that I remember. I remember the Friday mental arithmetic tests when we had like relays. I don't know if you remember, Marie, but we used to line up in teams on either side of the classroom, and we'd each have a row of figures to add. And we would add them, and when we got to the end, we ran to the other end of the room and handed the next set of figures to the person and the teams went on, and the winning team, and we were just, you know, it was excellent because it gave us the mental arithmetic challenge. We had to learn to add in our heads quickly, so that now when I go and I see calculators, we used to add 4 and 5 and 6, I'm just appalled because we got this string of numbers, at least 12 numbers, and we had to add them and run to the other side, and of course the competition made it very exciting. I remember Bible knowledge, and Mrs. Nora James, I think it was, who taught us Bible knowledge. And I remember that it was very different from learning Bible knowledge at Sunday school. It was more a historical sort of overview of the Old Testament. And I still appreciate much of what was taught at that time, things that I recall about those messages. History I did not like at all. I don't want to mention the name of the teacher who taught me, but the very first piece of work I handed in. Now remember, I'm coming to this school new. And in a class, yes, of girls who were there before, but I was new to this class. I don't know if she didn't know that I was new to the class. But when she handed back my work, she flung it into the corner, and she said, "You goat!" And she told me, "Pick up your book. I don't accept work like this. You're supposed to leave 1-inch margin to the left, a 1/2-inch margin to the right, and you are not to write, you're not to underline headings." And I was so taken aback, because I had just done it the way I was accustomed to doing it. I underlined my heading, I wrote with no margin to the right, only a margin to the left. And I was so embarrassed by the fact that she had flung my work to the floor, and I was practically in tears. But I got over that. We had a very mischievous girl in our class. Her first name was Fiona. I don't remember what her other name was. But my eyes nearly popped out of my head, because one of the teachers called her to the front, and she was sitting at the back, and she did cartwheels up to the front of the class. The teachers all have said, "Have you gone mad, child?" or something to that effect. But there were so many little things that were interesting and new. I also found the work very easy. I must say that when I came into Law 4A, I thought I was going to be challenged by a very difficult curriculum, because I was now in high school. When I found myself sort of wondering, well, this is so easy, why is it so easy? There was very little articulation at that time between what we learned at primary school and what we learned at high school. And so I really was going back to maybe 2 years before I actually went into high school in terms of what was required of me in terms of cognitive learning. The social learning was really very good. When I moved into middle 4, there was a mix. They did a revamping of the two classes, so that some of the Law 4B girls were now in middle 4A, some of the Law 4A girls were now in middle 4B, so that we had a mix. There was also a class called middle 4C, which was a class of slightly older girls who were also admitted, but who were not taken into the Law 4 category. So by the time we got to what is now third form, what is now grade 9, we were actually three streams of school, of girls, and we were all mixed up. It was all mixed up. Our teachers were very good. I really found our teachers to be very, very good. One of the teachers that we made a lot of fun of was a teacher who came in. She was only there for about a term. Her name was Miss Shevans, and she taught us biology. And she was very prim and very proper, and she could not understand these very naughty girls